Welcome to Savor Newark, the podcast. My name is Carlos Ferreira, and it's my pleasure to introduce my great friend, Rafael Moreira, a longtime resident and champion of the Ironbound who owns Altas Horas and Cozy. So today we're going to be talking about comfort food, authenticity, and this platform that allows us to prove, once again, why Newark is the authentic food capital in the country. Rafael, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to Savor Newark. I mean, it's a long time coming. Finally, we're able to have you here. Congratulations. I mean, whoever doesn't really know, you've started this entrepreneur career when you were really young. And even before we started this conversation, I asked you, were you into soccer now that it's the World Cup coming and Brazil is obviously a huge country and obviously great soccer culture in Brazil. And I asked you, were you ever into soccer? And you're like, no, I didn't have time. I started working really young. So tell me a little bit. You came at the age of 15. By the time you were 22, you opened Altas Horas, a 24/7 restaurant. How does that happen?
Yeah, yeah. I started too young. Working the supermarket with my daddy. My family in Brazil, they have um, few supermarket, and that way, I grew up in a supermarket. In other words, and my brother came to United States, and I decided when I was 15 years old to come over and live together with him. And I went to high school. I went to high school for a little bit, for a little while, and I started work with him, as a barbecue man and as a delivery.
With your brother?
Yeah, with my brother in Casanova. Yeah, I worked with him for maybe about 5 6 years, and around that time. That's the
Mhm.
time I decided to open my own business. And back then was not a lot of, not a lot of burger place and as a coxinha and all this kind of stuff. So I was like, you know what, maybe I'll open up a burger place here. Why not? And a lot of people was complaining why, it's not a lot of open business like 24 hours like back then was only diners maybe.
So you decided to risk it.
Yeah, you know what? Why not? A lot of people, I was here all the time. Anyway, so I decided to come to United States and went to high school for a little while, work with my brother.
Eastside High School, right?
I went to Eastside High School for a little while and I was transferred for Harrison High.
Okay.
So, and that's the time, finish high school and open my own business when I was 22. Opened my own house. Back then, when I opened my business, I was 22 years old, and I was married, and my son was born back then. So I was like,
Everything happened that
everything
year.
happening the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like very like I was too young to get all the experience in the same time. But you know what?
And how did you manage?
Yeah, I was like, I was learning. Of course, like sometimes I used to say like, the it's in the blood because all the family is a family business in the, like supermarket, grow up in the supermarket, went to the restaurant
Hmm.
as a business and
Your brother also owns.
right. So and my whole life was in the business area, like,
Hmm.
supermarket, restaurant and a burger place and
But one thing is growing in the family, right?
mhm.
With that culture and that ambition, those great examples. Another thing is I'm 22, I'm married, uh, I opened a 24-hour restaurant, and now I have a son. How do you think, what was behind your motivation to actually manage all of that? Where did you find the strength? Was maybe your first newborn that really inspired you? Your wife played
Yes.
a huge role as well, the family. How was it?
Yeah, when my first baby was born, and I was like, oh my God, now I became a man. I had to open up the business. And the time I see my son, I was like, this is the real life now. So I have to keep going, keep, work for, Um, it's not easy because you come to a different country, different culture, different language, and all this. You know, I was like back then. I was like feeling like half and a half. I was 22. I just came. I was 15. So how do I handle this? And I was like, but I got it. I got it. I think I got
You got it really
it.
well.
Thank you.
So, opening a 24/7 business
Hmm.
when you're a diner, you have the advantage of selling alcohol, right? When in a diner situation. But
Hmm.
Altas Horas, you don't sell alcohol. So,
No.
like, and a lot of people in the restaurant business, they always say, no, the what's really lucrative is the alcohol. But you decided to open a business without alcohol that worked 24/7. What were the main challenges at first? Was it always easy? Because you opened in 2005. I came in 2006 from Portugal. I
Okay.
moved 2006. So by the time I got here, the whole ex studio at Altas Horas was already an operation that was running smoothly and super successfully. But how was the beginning? It was always easy. You had some hiccups in the beginning. How was
Yeah.
it?
In the beginning was not easy, especially the first days. But yeah, I remember when I opened was on Thursday, and all the material, all the products I bought in Restaurant Depot to use. My plan was to use like about a week, and in the next day I had to come back to Restaurant Depot because it was like successful. It was very. And and that's the time I got idea what's going on. And you know what? I have to hire more people to work and this and that, 24 hours, and that's the time, it started. I realized, and when I got Monday, and I was, oh, now I know, now I know what I have to do. I got idea what's going on because you open up like right away and you don't know if you're gonna have a lot of customer or not. You know what I mean? It's like, and so now in the next day I bought a lot of stuff in Restaurant. They came back to Restaurant Depot in the Sunday too, and that was like Monday, boom. Now I got idea what's going on, so I have to. So it was not easy, but I got it, and I hired, I have to hire some manager in the beginning because I see what's going on, especially 24 hours. I had my baby just got born, and I really need to organize, and yeah, pretty much.
It took some time. The community is also changing. So now, at first, I'm pretty sure that you had a lot of Brazilians supporting it, and but it wasn't only Brazilians, American, even everybody. Altas Horas was for everybody. Now we also see that the Ecuadorian community and some Hispanic communities are growing, but still, everybody still likes Altas Horas,
Hmm.
and it was always open, and you always welcomed everybody, and everybody, was always very
Yeah,
pleased by the service and the quality of the burgers
yeah.
as
Thank
well.
God for this always.
As the community changed, I see that you've also made some adaptations, and then we're going to go and talk about
Hmm.
Cozy and what Cozy was when you opened and how you
Hmm.
rebranded as well, which is also pretty interesting. Your capacity and flexibility.
Hmm.
In terms of Altas Horas, um, have you adapted the menu as you went along? Because you've been introducing some new plates as well, new
Yes,
dishes.
in the beginning, I got a small menu from Brazil, and I was like, um, it started with a small menu, and later on, people was looking like for not just for the regular hot dogs, and the way we made in Brazil with the potato stick, mayo, and all this kind of stuff in the hot dogs,
And mashed potatoes.
mashed potato too. That's very famous in some part in Brazil.
I
There's
know.
yeah,
The first time I had a Brazilian hot dog, I
hot.
was in Portugal.
Okay.
It was in the Feira de Santarém. People from Santarém, if you're out there Portuguese listening, you'll know.
Uh-huh.
And it had green peas, popcorn, potato.
exactly.
That little sauce that you
Uh-huh.
guys put,
Right, the
you
green
know,
sauce and the
the
yeah.
no, 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 not the
Not the
green
green
sauce,
one,
the one that you actually,
the tomato
the
sauce. Oh
tomato
yeah, tomato
sauce.
sauce.
And I'm like, because I love it. You
You
know,
like it?
I like a lot of
Okay.
things like that.
Uh-huh.
And then when I came and then I saw Altas Horas, I'm like, I remember this in Portugal. That's right, the Brazilian hot dog, because it really had an impact in my life because it's so delicious, just so much. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the Brazilians say that they're the best for release stuff, for stuff that are not as the most orthodox if you want to do some sort of diet. But
Right.
in terms of hot dogs and burgers, Brazilian steak
So yeah,
are just
when I
amazing.
first started with the small menu, I just had one hot dog, and later on I decided to increase that hot dog menu. Later on, I create the chicken burgers, which is so many options. Like X tudo, we have the regular X tudo. We create a bunch of menu, like a bunch of like chicken burgers and all that with the X tudo chicken and all. It keep going like this. So
The especial da casa, like the house
yes,
style, which
yes.
is with a shredded
Yeah,
chicken.
shredded. Yeah, shredded. Yeah, chicken. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And then the operation grew. It was and now and then you expanded.
Mm-hmm.
So then you opened. You also it was at first Altas Horas Fitness.
Fit. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Of course.
What today is Cozy, still on Ferry
Yes.
Street.
Yes. It's the same location. When I first opened, I my plan was to open a version of like Altas Horas as a fit place because a lot of people
Hmm.
was looking for a bunch of stuff.
But Altas Horas had already that stamp of like, if you want fit, no, try next door.
uh, so I opened Altas Horas Fit, which is I was doing very well. I was doing good. I got no complaint. I have a lot of orders for to go back then because a lot of people wants to do like a package with a bunch of them to take home. And a lot of people live like out of nowhere, and sometimes they don't have a special place to get the right food because people are in the gym. When they go in the street, they look for fit food, but most of the time they not find them because it's not easy.
Hmm.
And I was doing good, but later on came an option to buy a liquor license, which was really next to the cozy, and you have some feet you can move your license to. So and that match exactly in the feet place. And I was like, you know what? Why don't maybe I'll change it, put as a sports bar, as a Altas Horas sports bar, which I call it as a cozy, but the name has Altas Horas on that too.
Okay.
So yeah, so
So you're Cozy as you do business
mhm.
as a DBA,
Yeah,
right?
I still have a Altas Horas Fit as DBA Cozy Sports Bar and
Got
Grill.
it. Hmm.
So it's still the same company. So, and that's when I decided to change everything to as a sports bar, and it came off as a success too.
You're like, I understand that fitness is important, but this liquor license is looking really tempting.
you know,
I know.
is
And for
a is
people
a
who
little
don't
bit
really
different.
know, it's quite an investment,
Yeah,
right?
too, exactly.
So you're expanding from Newark now. You're also working with the Cosmos, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have a presence there with some hot dogs. Are you taking the Brazilian hot dogs there, or just
Now
mostly?
they asked me for American hot dog, and
Do you think that eventually you'll
yeah,
introduce?
my plan is to do that way, show
I
them,
think so
you
too.
know what, the shish kebab, the chicken shish kebab and the beef shish kebab, the way we're doing, um, I'm doing that too in the stadium. Everybody love it. Everybody's like crazy about that too. So little by little, like you asked for, so I'm trying to introduce, maybe, like the hot dog and the X tudo, maybe in the future, you know.
I'm pretty sure that once you do, people will stop going there just to watch the games. They're gonna go there just even if they lose, it's fine. Because I
Mhm.
got my ex studio today and my Brazilian hot dog, so it's still a win.
Exactly. So yeah, that's
So your shish kebab, it's espetinhos,
yeah,
right?
espetinho, yeah.
Right.
So yeah, we do in the same way we do in Portugal and Brazil Day. So it's the same way. So everybody love it. And actually, I asked in the stadium, I asked the stadium, listen, you guys like the barbecue, so to continue? And they said, oh, we really love it. So we want to you continue the shish kebab. So so they like it. So that's good.
And how did that happen? I mean, did they contact you, or was there some sort of bid, or
Yeah, they contact me because the stadium
it's
they
at Patterson?
in Patterson,
Hmm.
yes. So they don't have a legal license in the stadium, so they need someone to extend the license to the stadium. So they came in looking for me to to do transfer the license and work there. So yeah,
And when did that start?
was about a month, maybe a month ago, in April. Yeah, I think the first game was actually March 14, I think. Yes.
And so people who don't know, so Cosmos has a presence here in Patterson, and the stadium also has other types of events, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
not only just
Oh
soccer,
yeah,
soccer,
soccer, yeah,
football.
football, yeah, they have a different type of, yeah. They have the whole, the whole schedule for the whole year. If you go online and see it, it's pretty much, yeah, it's a lot of games and this is good.
And you're the main food vendor there?
Yes. Yeah, I'm selling the hot dog and the shish kebab and the liquor, so
Eventually, she's still the.
she,
You're gonna revolutionize
yeah, so the
the way
stadium.
American consumes and celebrates sports. I
Yeah.
could totally see it. Oh, the sex too is a whole other level. Great. This has got to try this, right? It's gonna
Yeah.
be great.
Yeah, they love our food. Even though Brazilian, Portuguese food, and they really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, of course. It's just that in a more stadium,
Mm-hmm.
setup, something easier to eat,
Mm-hmm.
burgers,
Mm-hmm.
hot dogs. I just think that it really fits right in your lane,
Mm-hmm.
of work that you've really mastered really, really well. So congratulations on that. In terms of your experience, you've seen Newark since 2005 when you opened. Well, you've been here even before
Yeah, I
that.
came in
So
'97.
late 90s,
Yeah.
but you opened Altas
Uh-huh.
Horas
Yeah, 2005. Yes.
2005. What have you seen that the main changes were? And then we're going to go and ask you how you dealt with the pandemic and all those,
Mm-hmm.
because in the process you kept on going, and in this case you're even growing. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Back then was different. Um, when I got here in '97, between '97 and 2005, we have a lot of Brazilian coming in, and we had a lot of Portuguese before, which they move out a little bit to different town, like Union, some
Warren, they love
Warren.
Warren.
Yes, yes. So, and the Brasilia came up. So now it's changed to Equatorian. So I feel a lot of Equatorian this,
Do
area
they still
too.
like the she's do
Oh
though?
yeah, my customer number one today.
See,
They come to my business all the time. Yeah, and they really appreciate the food. So yeah, so it's a lot of change. A lot of things has been changed in the
you also
past
have
year.
some Ecuadorian employees, right? Or is it?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Half of my employees is speak Spanish, and the other half speak Portuguese. So yeah, so that's good. Customer come and feel comfortable, especially if they don't speak English. They
Hmm.
show up and they feel, oh, okay, what is this? Oh, what's the corn or maize? All this kind of stuff. Explain how come with the extruder if they don't know. So like we
There's
talk
a lot
about,
to explain. 'Cause
yeah, the hot dog and
it's
stuff
like,
and
where should I start? Well, we have pretty much everything in there.
yeah. Hey, they really like
That's
it,
why it's called Extudo.
X2, that's why come with everything. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, they really appreciate the kids and they come with the family, which is a family, business. I mean, family people, and they enjoy. Especially now in the summertime, we have tables outside.
Hmm.
They call it outdoor dining. So yeah, that's
And
pretty
it was
good.
also a tradition. So you had the families
Mm-hmm.
by day, and then you had the nightlife people that after they go
Mm-hmm.
out and go to clubs, and before the Ironbound
Right.
at a lot of clubs, and that would go to Altas Horas. Altas Horas was some sort of a tradition, the ritual where you go out, you do whatever you got to do, and then you go to Altas Horas
Exact,
just to
exact.
eat something before you go home.
And 8 o'clock in the morning, I mean, not 8 o'clock in the morning, about people come from the clubs and all that about 3 o'clock in the morning. But about 5 o'clock in the morning, five o'clock in the morning, people from the construction show up to get a coffee and this to go work. And they, and later on about 8 o'clock, people around, from the bank and from the agents and around the business, come up to get some stuff. So all kind of people
Right.
in 24
Depending
hours.
with the time.
What time? 3 o'clock. And people from the kids from the school stop by to get some pão de queijo and some coffee to go to the
And
school.
by the way, you're not paying me for that. It's true. Altas Horas
Uh-huh.
is the best pão de queijo that I've
Oh,
ever
thank you,
tried.
thank you.
It's true. And this is it's a compliment because I like it, I enjoy it, but I'm not a huge fan of pão
Mm-hmm.
de queijo. But yours is really, really,
Yeah,
really,
thank you,
really good.
thank
So
you.
it's a very genuine
Yeah,
compliment
a lot of people ask for
because
pão de
I'm more
queijo.
of a coxinha kind of guy with
Oh, okay.
catupiry. You gotta have the catupiry.
Catupiry, yeah,
Yeah,
coxinha.
we gotta have it.
Yeah,
The
that's good.
coxinha without catupiry is a very sad day in my life.
Yeah, we have the pão de queijo, which is very famous. And a lot of people ask me to, now we're doing to, I mean, for years we're doing that, but we're selling those pão de queijo as froze too.
Hmm.
People once like show up, oh,
The ones you
yeah, the one where I'm selling there, but and you can take home and do it, in the air fryer. You can do it in, the way he wants to. But we're selling bags of pão de queijo people to take home and
that's awesome.
as a froze, you know that's really good too. So even though the coxinha too, the small ones, we have that ready. If you show up 24 hours, any times in the day or the time, I mean day or night time, I want a pão de queijo to take home now. Right away, I have bag ready for you. We keep around 10,000 of pão de queijo in the small coxinhas and all this kind of stuff ready in the walking box.
Wow.
Yeah, we have a big walking box only in the basement. So yeah, we keep that all the time, about 10,000 every day to keep going. Yeah.
Mm. So a lot to juggle, a lot to manage, and then cozy. It's a sports bar, but it's a sports bar that you also have picanha. You also got
Coxinha.
coxinha.
Mm-hmm.
You have the frango passarinho.
Frango
So like more
passarinho.
of these Brazilian staples and platters.
Right.
So
And
it's a completely different approach. So do you think that that comes from the time that you also worked in restaurants with your brother? How did you transition from more of a maybe fast food kind of environment to
yeah, we have that too. The X Tudo, pretty much the same X Tudo in the menu, the burger, chicken burgers in the Altas Horas too. Um, what I did is get all the burgers from Altas Horas and put in there. So, but I realized later on, listen, it's a sports bar. We need some appetizer here too. So I brought the coxinha, like I told you. So, and I started, franga passarinho has to be here too. And though, I created like a combo, between both store, which is help a lot too. And
picanha,
picanha, yeah, of course.
the
We
sirloin, right?
sirloin, yeah, we have
Mm-hmm.
the sirloin there with the French fries and chicken with French fries and bunch
Beans. You have to have beans. Rice
beans.
and beans.
Yeah,
Come
rice
on
and
now.
beans too. Yeah, we have rice and beans too.
And farofa.
Farofa too. Yeah, you see, gotta be right.
It's a combo. It's like a team.
Exactly. So we have all the mains, especially all the appetizers, all the burgers, and the rice and beans too with the picanha and all this stuff. So and the drinks, which is the sports bar, the TVs, and especially now for World Cup is gonna be, you
Hmm.
know,
And that's what I was about to ask you. So for now for World Cup, how are you guys
yeah, we
gearing up?
prepare like I told you about the outdoor dining. We have outdoor dining, the cozy sports bar. Actually, in the two locations, we have the bunch of tables outside and live music, and we prepare. We waiting for all the people to show up, especially in the World Cup too. Um, yeah, I remember last World Cup was like really busy. We have a lot of people. show up, and pretty much I think
And you have a lot of experience already working with big events from Brazilian Day to Portugal Day. Like you're always very proactive.
yes,
Whenever you know, are they closing Ferry Street? I'm out. You
ready.
know, ready with
Exactly.
a DJ. You don't have,
Yes. So.
for some, because I've, as you know, we've worked with the councilman uh, on a few occasions of the Taste of the City, and
Mm-hmm.
we've partnered with Taste of the City and Sounds of the Ironbound. And some restaurants that are not as, it's not as common for them to do that. For some, it's a little bit of oh man, or I'm gonna find staffing and people or organize my. Normally, the ones that don't have an outside area frequently.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then there's also the other ones like you that what closing Ferry Street? Okay, I have a DJ, I have this. I'm ready. I'm already moving my operation outside. So it also has to do with it speaks volumes to the type of entrepreneur that you are. You're adventurous. You like to be a part of it. You're
Mm-hmm.
proactive.
Yeah, participating. Yeah.
Do you think those are some of the ingredients behind your success?
Yeah, I always, participated from, experience from life from the beginning, like from 2005. Actually, before that, you know. Anyway, that's helped a lot too, and I really enjoy it. I really like it. People show up, and I like to see, especially those busy days. Is good to see customers show up and come all over the place and get a shish kebab, get this, get that, boom, enjoy it. Say, have a seat, with the family. So there's a family package. So that's good too. So I really appreciate it, and I always participate, and I like it, and I'm teaching my sons too, and they, for the whole life I'm here for 28 years already, so participated for Portugal Day, all these kinds of events, Brazil Days, and
Support other communities
supported,
as well.
yes, yes, Equatorian Day and all that. Anything has, I'll do my best on, and I have all the background, the backstroke, which has helped a lot to keep the beer cold all the time, and there's a lot of things for years.
Hmm.
Of course, it was not in one day I create everything. Is
But now you have a pretty solid
you know,
structure too.
yeah. So experience and get more. So you're getting better every year more. So.
Hmm. So in Newark, you found yourself. You found your American dream. You've been prospering. So how has the experience of working in Newark, seeing the city, also changing? How has that been? Have these close to 30 years been in Newark, where you became a man and a very successful entrepreneur?
Newark always my home, always, forever. And I see as, of course, a lot of things has been changed in the past years. Um, the past years was changed a lot, but even though successful, it's my home. Sometimes I go home like to Brazil and see all my parents and all that, and I feel like it's missing something. It's Newark. It's
Right.
my house too. I mean, grow up here, finish to grow up here, you raise here, and all. Um, it's my house. I got no complaints. It's that's the place I got successful by all my properties, and grow up. My son was born here, and you know I always gotta say thank you all the time.
When you go back home, do you put in perspective? Did you ever imagine that the young boy that left Minas Gerais one day, that would be this successful? Did you ever evident you already had that vision, or it just came with time and exposed to the opportunities you grabbed it? Do you really think that, wow, I came
No,
such a
no.
long way?
I mean, when I left Brazil, I was 15 years old, and my plan was just to stay for a little while, like 6 months, a year, and come back to, you know, get some experience. Back then, when you're too young, sometimes you think you don't have experience. So you don't know like everything is oh go in another country. I mean, okay, it's very simple, but
But it was just you and your brother that came at first, or you came to see your brother? How?
yeah, my brother was here already, and I came to stay with him for a little while and decide to study. My plan was study, study a little bit, and at the time I decided to extend it. When you see, I was married and my son was born, and right away I decided to open. I bought my house. I was 19 years old when I first bought my property here, and later on I decided to open the business, and my son was born, and and keep going. When you see, boom, times fly,
Right.
right?
What can we expect from you and your operation in the near future? Is there anything that you can already reveal? How do you see the future?
I mean, um, my plan in the future, I still open more business, another business. Yeah, I still, I have a plans to open another business, and but sometimes I think a little bit different. I need more time too for my family, my sons, and my wife, and
Find that balance.
the balance, right? Because I have one little baby for 1 year old. My baby daughter is 4. My other two one is 21, the other one is 19, the one you met yesterday. So
How many kids do you have?
4. Yeah, 21, 19, the one you met yesterday. The baby girl, 4 years old, and the little baby for 1 year. So
You need a fifth to match the World Cups that Brazil already won.
Yeah,
But congratulations, and
thank you.
it's a continuous um, struggle to find that balance. So you want to grow, but you also want
Yeah,
to be there. And
right.
I know that
Yeah.
you've always been a very present
Mm-hmm.
family man, and that shows. Your kids are super nice. Your wife pleasant. So you have a great family structure, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, Anything else that you would like our community to know about your operation? Any message that you would like to send them? Anything that I didn't ask? I think we're quickly approaching.
Um, yeah, for the business, I have 2 locations, and I hope that who doesn't know, stop by and get X Tudo or the hot dog, and we open 24 hours for 20 years already. This is a
During the pandemic, you guys had to adapt back then.
Yes, yeah, that's the only time we had a city ordinance. We had to close.
And how was adapting
Yeah, it
and
was.
surviving with
Yeah,
such a big
shaking a lot because for years and years in the same way, but later on, I have to work back on and start all over again, and because it's not easy. I remember when I opened, like we spoke before, when I first started. So I was, in COVID, pandemic. I was like, oh, how it looked like I'm started back again.
right?
But yeah, but it was good. I mean, we got no option, right? You have to keep going. And but yeah, no complaints. It was I used to say all the time like everything make you everything you get experience. You're always getting some experience about it. Doesn't matter like you do, like I'm doing now in the stadium. It's a new experience for me because it's a stadium. I never worked in the stadium before. It's a different, of course, it's a business as a food, even though that, but it's different. You always learn something. I always used to say that you always learn something,
Hmm.
even though it doesn't matter what you do, you always learn something.
Are you the type of person that you also like risking? You're adventurous that way? Because when you opened your restaurant, Altas Horas,
Mm-hmm.
you came from. You're always in a very humble, calm. I was helping my brother. I did some deliveries, and then I opened a restaurant that is work 24/7. And I'm like, so you go from waiter, and then all of a sudden, no, my first restaurant has to be 24/7. So were you always this adventurous?
Yeah, I got there. I know what I want to. When I focus, I know I got a vision about it. Like, this is gonna work out, and every time I feel it and keep going. Everything I got right. Even though by property, open business, I decide to do it. I see it and work well and got you know
You're a little bit like me. When I see something, it's going to work out.
it's
But
gonna work.
in my case, it normally doesn't. No, it has. It's been working out as well. Well, my friend, where can people find you? Your handles, social media, cozy.
Oh
This
yeah,
is your
yeah,
time to share your
sure.
information.
Yeah, Altas Horas. We have the Instagram Altas Horas 24 hours. We have the Cozy Sports Bar and Grill, which is both on Ferry. And next year we're gonna have a new business. Is gonna another business, so it's gonna be a big surprise and something very
Anything,
interesting.
anything that you can reveal about the concept or not yet?
Nah, not yet.
Oh,
Something very nice. Something great idea. Something we don't have in Newark yet. Uh, we don't have in Newark yet. Something like that. The way I'm gonna do it, but something different, typical from Brazil too, but adapted the way we work here. But it's gonna work well. Like I told you, it's focus. I'm see it's gonna work well.
mhm.
I can see that. I can see it's gonna work well.
Havel, it was your first time here in our podcast. As you know, Isabel and myself, plus Sybil, we're very passionate about promoting Newark as an authentic food capital because we really do believe that you don't find that authenticity in different areas or so many restaurants concentrated in the same neighborhood. But hearing it from you, why do you think that Newark is just so authentic? Why do you think that people, when you go to a Brazilian restaurant or a Portuguese restaurant, you're actually eating as if you were in Brazil? Why do you think that happens in Newark and you don't see it happening in other places with the same level of quality?
I mean, like the.
When you're eating here, it tastes that you're
Mm-hmm,
eating. And I mean, you eat a picanha at
mm-hmm,
your place, it's the same thing as eating a picanha in
mm-hmm.
Minas Gerais. So we really, there's a lot of pride that goes into keeping the authenticity alive. Why do you think that it happens so much in Newark?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Yeah, people. I don't know. People.
So when you were opening your Altas Horas,
Mm-hmm,
you brought those memories from
mm-hmm.
Minas Gerais. It was something that comes from missing something, you were nostalgic
Oh
about
yeah, yeah.
something, and you want to
It's
keep the memory alive. Where does that inspiration come for you? Because you could have just said something along the lines of, or thought of something, well, I can do something maybe a little bit Brazilian, but more Americanized. But you didn't. You just chose to. It's Brazilian hot dogs. It's Brazilian hamburgão, lunches, like if we
mm-hmm.
were in Brazil. Um, why do you think that we don't compromise the traditions? What?
Yeah, people is missing. I feel the people is missing all this kind of stuff, the food and the small thing, little things, and also all the other people is they adapted it. They really like the food too. So that was um that was my question when I bring all this stuff in. I know the Brazilian community is gonna like it because they miss it, but what about the other people? They're gonna enjoy it, they're not gonna like it, or how they're gonna go? Yeah, I see today. I mean, today is like, you know, thank God always in the business very famous and everybody like it and everybody like the ex-tudo and the hot dog and the pancake and all the salgadinhos and the so yeah, this is something we brought as a people is missing, but all the people like it, especially the young people, like we talk now, 3 o'clock in the morning,
Mm.
people going to the school in the morning, people from come back from the job or going to the construction, or people kids, the kids come back from the high school 3 o'clock too in the
Mhm.
afternoon. They come, they show up, and so all kind of people. So is very successful. I mean, the way I feel like so happy about it.
Mhm.
I never thought, we when you're too young, sometimes I got the risk, and I know it's gonna work out, but you get experience.
Mhm.
Like I told you, you always learn something every day. Even though whatever you do, you got to you get experience, you learn something. So
Very good. Well, tastes of Brazil for everyone could fail. I wish you all the best. Keep up the great work, you and your team, and
thank you.
send our love to your family as well. It was a great conversation with Rafael Moreira, and we discussed what goes into keeping Brazil alive and these tastes of Brazil alive in our community. So, Altas Horas, cozy, and if you happen to go to a Cosmos game, there will be amazing hot dogs
Yeah, cheese kebab
and eventually maybe some Brazilian hamburgers coming soon. As to
yeah,
us, don't forget to visit us on our social media platforms at +PR. Also follow our Savor Newark podcast on the main platforms as well. This year, Savor Newark will take place. The event will happen May 16th at the Cherry Blossom Welcome Center at Branchbrook Park. And it's a way for us to celebrate together all these great stories and encounters in the city of Newark, from the city of Newark to the world. I'll see you next time.